I just came across an interesting conundrum or apparent contradiction in the graph of the arccotangent function. It was brought up by a reader of my book, Trigonometry Demystified, 2nd edition. Trigonometry Demystified, 2nd edition, published by McGraw-Hill, with a copyright date of 2012. On page 97 of the printed edition, figure 4-16 shows a graph of the arccotangent function restricted to a principal branch such that you get a range that goes from 0 to pi and a domain that extends over the entire set of real numbers. The reader pointed out that he had seen a document that indicated that in fact the range of this function should extend from minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. And so that instead of a graph like this, you would get a split graph, which would look something like this going here and the same curve going there. So it would still extend over the entire set of real numbers, but with a discontinuity at the value x equals 0. Which point you would choose for the value at x equals 0 would be kind of academic. You could choose that point, so you'd fill in that little circle, or choose that point, so you'd fill in that little circle, so that at least the function would remain defined over the set of real numbers. However, it has a discontinuity here. Well, I did a little research on that, and I have found documents that suggest either type of graph. The beauty of rendering the range of this function going from 0 to pi is that it doesn't have any discontinuity at x equals 0. If you render the range from minus pi over 2 to pi over 2, you have this discontinuity in the function. It's a little less elegant. However, to the best of my understanding, either graph is technically okay. My book uses this one, and so does Wikipedia. Not that Wikipedia is necessarily the final authority on everything, but I do have a link, and hopefully it will show up in the explanation or the caption for this video, and you can at least cut and paste to go to that link. Otherwise, use the Google search engine and enter arccotangent function as a phrase, and you should get some hits that'll give you some interesting insight. But there is apparently some disagreement in the literature as to which graph is correct. Once again, this was pointed out by a reader to me, and apparently he's not the only mathematician out there who has had this question for people. So again, it's in the 2nd edition of Trigonometry Demystified on the printed book, page 97, figure 4-16. And it also goes into the other inverse functions like this and defines principal branches for those.